Some aspects lie within our control, such as our opinions, preferences, desires, and aversions, all intrinsic to our actions. On the other hand, there exist elements beyond our influence, including our bodies, wealth, reputation, authorities, and everything unrelated to our actions. This wisdom is expressed in the opening passages of the renowned Greek philosopher Epictetus's Manual of Life. The Stoics believed that to lead a fulfilling life free from emotional turmoil and excessive desires, it's crucial to recognize the distinction between what falls within your sphere of control and what does not. It is our responsibility to direct our efforts toward those aspects within our control while disregarding those beyond it. One of the most significant challenges for humans is the undue influence of external opinions and judgments. Regardless of our efforts, it's nearly unavoidable to experience both positive and negative impacts from others. To truly shield yourself from their influence, it's essential to recognize that you have no control over the opinions, insults, or personal attacks of other people. Epictetus imparts guidance on how to respond when you become the target of an offense. Hence, the aim of this video is to glean wisdom from the renowned work, Manual of Life, with the objective of attaining a mindset that empowers us to diminish or eliminate the various forms of distress stemming from external judgments. By delving into the 7 teachings of Epictetus, you will uncover the rationale behind dismissing concerns about others' sentiments, ultimately arriving at a state where external opinions hold no capacity to inflict harm. Lesson number 1. Derisive comments and affront. Keep in mind that the one who hurls insults or resorts to violence isn't the one truly affected. It's the person delivering the insults who sets the stage for offense. So, when someone provokes you, remember that it's your own judgment that stirs your emotions in the first place. Try not to be swayed by appearances, for once you allow yourself some time and space to breathe, it becomes easier to maintain composure. One of the fundamental keys to disregarding others' opinions is realizing that insults or offenses are not inherently harmful. The distress stemming from an insult is, in fact, rooted in how we internalize and react to it. When someone attempts to belittle or disrespect you, remember that the insult can only harm you if you permit it to. Reacting negatively to it accomplishes the sender's goal. Conversely, reacting with stoicism, withholding your opinion in response to the insult, makes the insulter the true loser. A person's worth should be gauged by their capacity to endure negativity, as it's an unavoidable aspect of life. When you feel insulted or offended, ask yourself whether you want to win or lose, whether you wish to succumb to something beyond your control. Just as with desires in Stoicism, where the key isn't to eradicate them, but to master how you respond to them, handling insults without disturbance will lead to a profound sense of satisfaction, making you a stronger individual capable of navigating adversity. You might recall those instances when a single negative opinion ruined your day or week against your will. I can empathize with that feeling, as most have encountered such situations. If you find this relatable, I encourage you to stay with us, as in the upcoming principles, we'll delve further into the realm of self-control. Lesson number 2. Resolute intentions. If you are determined to delve into the realm of philosophy, prepare yourself right from the outset for the likelihood of ridicule and taunts from the masses. Anticipate hearing remarks like, "Has he suddenly become a philosopher?" Or, "Where does this haughty attitude come from?" Make sure you do not adopt this arrogance and adhere to what is genuinely advantageous to you. Keep in mind that if you remain steadfast in your pursuits, those who once mocked you will eventually come to admire you. Conversely, if you succumb to the persuasion of others, you will double the ridicule you endure. This principle is crucial, as many forsake their true talents in a bid to placate dissenting voices. Epictetus underscores that if we forsake our rightful path due to the fear of public opinion, we subject ourselves to double humiliation. First, because we attempted and failed to follow through, and second, because we surrendered to the judgments of others. It is imperative to understand that if you fail or abandon your purpose, you are not the object of ridicule. Ridicule arises when one relinquishes their aspirations solely to evade societal friction and the fear of being criticized. This is where the real issue lies. Is it not worthwhile to endure a temporary period of mockery or scrutiny in exchange for the happiness derived from living in harmony with your true nature? Remind yourself that you will not permit others' opinions to define your identity or your potential accomplishments. I strongly advise that you reflect on this every time you face a pivotal decision in your life. Deliberate on your priorities and recognize the authentic motivations behind the choices you make. Lesson number 3: dread and shame. Do not concern yourself with the notion of living without honor and feeling insignificant in various contexts due to a lack of honor being contingent upon the judgments of others. Their capacity to affect our happiness is, in fact, non-existent. Furthermore, no one can compel us to partake in something against our will. It is their responsibility to acquire influence or secure an invitation to a gathering. Ultimately, why should a lack of power or an absence of invitations equate to dishonor? Why should this translate to insignificance? Your significance is derived solely from your influence over things within your own control and the domains where your choices hold the most sway. This principle remains highly pertinent in our present era. Consider how frequently you've engaged in activities you don't genuinely wish to pursue solely for the sake of obtaining someone's approval. Particularly on social media platforms like Instagram, the pursuit of social validation often proves detrimental to one's well-being. It is imperative to question whether it is worthwhile to alter our true selves merely to attain a small measure of satisfaction. Is it prudent to entrust the well-being of our minds to the hands of others? In my view, the answer is a resounding no. If, on a given day, you find yourself partaking in an action you find embarrassing, yet it lacks any malicious intent, should you be troubled if others mock or ostracize you? And what about the allure of increased popularity that such actions might bring? Does it genuinely result in contentment? If your happiness hinges on your popularity, you will live in perpetual discord, as your happiness lies beyond your control. Consequently, you will exist in a perpetual state of tension, altering your identity to prevent a loss of status. Lesson number 4. Are you willing to entrust your body to someone you don't know? If someone were to offer their body to the first stranger they encountered on their path, you would undoubtedly be furious. Yet, you seem to have no qualms about yielding your mind to confusion and deception when faced with insults from just about anyone. This notion aligns with our earlier discussion, emphasizing your power to transform an insult into an offense. As Epictetus wisely advises, you should hold your mind in the same esteem as you do your body. I'm confident that you wouldn't allow a stranger to enter your home each day, knowing the potential threat they pose. Nevertheless, when you receive an insult and internalize it as an offense, you allow that person to enter your mind, and they may linger there for days. So why do we permit these mental intruders when we would never tolerate them in our homes? To achieve the ability to disregard the negative emotions stemming from an offense, one must cultivate discipline and self-control. This practice should extend to all aspects of life, including interactions with your family. When anger arises, learn to master it. By doing so, you'll spare yourself from unnecessary suffering and find greater inner peace. Trust me, dedicating yourself to this endeavor can mark a significant turning point in your life. Lesson number 5. Suppressing your actions. When you undertake an action that, in your best judgment, aligns with what you believe is right, never feel ashamed of being observed while doing it, even if others misconstrue your intentions. If your actions are not in harmony with your beliefs, consider abandoning them. However, if your actions are virtuous, there is no need to fear misjudgment from others. I previously touched upon this in the context of social media. Relying on external approval and the quest for popularity can lead you to abandon your convictions simply because of others' misunderstandings. In such instances, you cease acting for yourself and begin acting for others. It's a decision you must ponder, as it rests entirely in your hands. Rather than constantly seeking external validation and worrying about others' opinions, Stoicism urges us to center our focus on our own inner virtues. We should intimately know ourselves, comprehend our core values, and act in accordance with them, regardless of the opinions of others. Lesson number 6. When someone talks negatively about you. If someone harms you or speaks ill of you, remember that they do so believing it's the right course of action for them. Just as you act according to your own sense of right and wrong, they do the same, even if it doesn't align with your perspective. In this light, if they are making judgments based on false assumptions, they are the ones who ultimately suffer due to their misunderstanding. Therefore, following these principles, practice patience when confronted with insults. Each time, acknowledge that this is their perception. Epictetus delved into analyzing the motivations behind such insults. He teaches us not to anticipate that everyone will act in accordance with our values or beliefs. Such expectations can be detrimental. It's important to recognize that not everyone shares the same worldview as you do. This is a rather simplistic notion. The world is filled with diverse perspectives, and each individual has their unique self. So if someone insults you, they are operating from their limited understanding. Reflect on this. You know who you are, your thoughts, reasons, and motivations. The only person who truly comprehends you is yourself. When faced with an insult from a stranger, ask yourself the following questions. Have I behaved wrongly? If the answer is no, consider whether you can truly fathom their reasons for insulting you. It becomes evident that you cannot. Therefore, if you have acted rightly and face an insult stemming from a lack of understanding on their part, find solace in the fact that you know yourself better than anyone else. If you have acted rightly, there's no need to carry any remorse. Just as Epictetus advised regarding those who insult, that's how it appears to them. Lesson number 7. The expectation of misfortunes. Foreseeing obstacles equips us to better surmount them, ensuring our readiness for life's highs and lows. It fosters our capacity to remain composed and clear-headed even in the most trying circumstances. An effective Stoic practice for managing external opinions involves the exercise of anticipating potential adversities. This entails mentally preparing for potential critiques, judgments, or unfavorable viewpoints that may surface. The objective of this praemeditatio malorum is not to indulge in pessimism or fear, but to fortify our emotional resilience and cultivate a mindset primed to confront challenges. By contemplating potential adverse occurrences, we can formulate strategies and action plans to address them more effectively. We can also cultivate a sense of emotional detachment from desired outcomes, recognizing that we won't always wield control over external events. We must acknowledge that negative occurrences are an inescapable facet of the human experience. By remaining conscious of these possibilities, we can brace ourselves against being shaken by anything, including the comments and judgments of others. Lesson number 8. Unless we permit it, no one can cause harm to you. This applies not just to your father, brother, or neighbor, but to everyone. Maintain your composure in your interactions. Focus not on their actions, but on your own conduct to align with the natural order. No one can harm you unless you allow it. They can only cause you distress if you believe you are harmed. Do not dwell on the source of discomfort, but on how you process it. Internalize this in every life interaction. You control your thoughts. If someone, with their flawed perception, disrespects you, do not devote even a moment to them. It adds no value to your life. The only result will be a disturbance in your mood. How much longer will you delay becoming worthy of greater progress and following reason's guidance? You possess a philosophical principle you should be familiar with. Whose guidance are you waiting for to begin self-improvement? You are no longer an adolescent. You are an adult. If you persist in negligence, laziness, and procrastination, piling up excuses, your life will pass unnoticed without advancement. You will remain a child until the end of your days.